Show is presented by the experts at TireRack.com and is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Canon, Gatorade, Gordon Food Service, St. Joseph Health System, South Bend Orthopedic, Vivid Seats, and by West Bend Insurance. Also brought to you by Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame and Gulfstream Coach. Now, here's the Brian Kelly Show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Athletics Center for the Brian Kelly Radio Show. I am Jack Nolan, joined as always by the head coach of the Fighting Irish, ranked 16th in every existing college football poll right now. And, Coach, I want to start with a little bit of academic news that came out late this afternoon. Chris Finke, who's a graduate student in finance, he had a 3.52 undergrad GPA and a 4.0 scale. In grad school, he's up to 3.84. And Cole Komet, your tight end, who's a psychology major, playing two sports, in addition to going to class, has a 3.33 GPA. They were both this afternoon named to the COSIDA Academic All-District Team, making them eligible for election as COSIDA Academic All-Americans. And we don't talk about it much, but the academic side is a huge part of this program.
Yeah, we don't even wear a patch on our jerseys to signify that we have a 3.0. How about that? So good for those guys. They deserve it. They've been that was a shot at one of the conferences.
I know what it was. I'm just letting you go.
That,
just
right?
go right through. Yes.
Okay.
I knew well what that was.
It's
you'd need a lot of patches if you did that.
Yeah, we'd have to give patches to a lot of guys. But those two guys in particular, obviously have done a great job on the field, but off the field, they lead by example. And certainly, Chris being a captain as well. And his story just continues to get better, right? I mean, he was a walk-on here and earns a scholarship, becomes a captain, and now COSIDA. So great story, Chris Finke.
And we're going to be talking about him again in just a few moments because he's been banged up most of the season, but he's finally healthy and certainly showed it against Duke. Impressive win last weekend, 38-7 over a team that had beaten Virginia Tech 45-10. You were expected to win the game, but it shouldn't take away from the performance, which included your largest margin of victory in a true road game in 6 years. You played very well on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I thought they were on top of things in terms of execution, energy. Execution for us has been one of the things offensively that we have been spotty at, and I thought they came out executing extremely well, and it showed. Ian Book played very well early on, and I thought that got us kind of the energy and everybody into the ball game.
Ian, in fact, had a record-setting day, rushed for career-high 139 yards. He threw 4 touchdown passes. He's the first Notre Dame quarterback ever to do that, and he joined Brady Quinn as the only Irish quarterbacks to throw for 4 touchdowns in a game 4 times. Pretty good performance.
Yeah, that really is. I didn't know about that stat until I think it was Monday where it was pointed out to me, and that's pretty good company to be in. That's really neat.
Now, a little aside there, Quinn holds the record with 7 4-touchdown games. There are 5 who have done it at least 3 times, and 2 of them are on your staff right now in Tommy Reese and Ron Paulus.
Well, that's good company. I mean, both those guys are accomplished players, and for Ian to do that, and you can see that, he had different throws as well. He had, an overload blitz on one. The other one was a throw to the tight end coming out of the backfield, and here, he picks up a first down run on the football. Here, another really good run here. Ran the ball effectively against a team that, played a lot of man-to-man coverage and allowed him, obviously a lot of yards rushing the football.
And certainly he gets to make that read, but there were design runs as well. I got some emails. Why did Book run it so much? Well, that was part of the game plan because the way you knew they were going to defend you.
Yeah, I mean, again, we felt like, one of the things that he had been doing so well is running the ball, and it gets him into the flow of the game quicker. And, again, you could see that it got him into a space where he felt comfortable playing, and it's something that, again, I think when you start to look at all the things that he can do, running the football is just, one of the things that gets a quarterback like him really into the game.
And again, for folks who are here, folks, you can watch this show both live and later archive. We do show videos of many of the outstanding performances. That's what Coach is referring to. Back to Chris Finke and the nagging injuries that he has now overcome. He really looked healthy last week. 5 catches for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. 4 of his catches were on third down, and he had a terrific 78-yard reception called back on a penalty I still can't figure out, plus a 46-yard punt return.
Yeah, I mean, I think his special teams play was outstanding, and the one that got called back, certainly you could add that one to the mix. He does a great job finding himself open, but it was good to get Chris back and feeling healthy. He's had the back, he's had the knee, he's had the ribs, so again, makes a nice catch over the middle. All those little things that he was able to do for us last year. Great to see him back in action and making plays for us.
And you mentioned he came here as a walk-on because he wanted to be here. There were places he could have gone on scholarship, and this isn't a Rudy type situation. You wanted him on your team because you knew he could play and that he had the opportunity to earn a scholarship. Did you foresee him, though, becoming such a key cog in your offense?
Well, I mean, I think you always bring in guys that you expect someday that they can contribute in some fashion. He just contributed at a higher level, and so, when you put together, a roster, each player obviously has a different ceiling. I felt like he could at least be a really accomplished punt returner, and that's an important position on anybody's team. And so you can see here we get great coverage, great blocking downfield. Tommy Trumbull makes a great decision not to block somebody here, and then we were kidding Chris. He's the king of getting them back to the 10-yard line. He's had a couple of returns getting them back to the 10-yard line. But again, I think in answering your question, if the worst it was going to be was a really good punt returner or a real steady punt returner, we were going to be in good shape. And he's given us much more than that.
People spend so much time following recruiting now and star ratings and projections. I think the other sport that I spend a lot of time with, it's easier to project how a high school basketball player is going to do at the next level. But talk to me about that window from the time they're 17 or 18 and get here till the time they're 21, 22, or maybe 23 and leave. How much development is still left for the average football player when he comes to college?
Well, it's dependent on the position, certainly. There are some guys that are ready-made and that can step in and, have the ability to play as true freshmen. We've got a couple of them. But at the highest level, to play in an impact position, it's really difficult. You'll have your games here and there where you'll show yourself, but to play an entire schedule as a true freshman, it's remarkable to be able to do that. And that's why the quarterback last year at Clemson, to be able to play that entire season as a true freshman, was remarkable. All that goes along with playing the position in itself is difficult enough, but to do it as a true freshman just, shows how he is different than most. So, I think freshmen can come in and play. I think the position has a lot to do with it. It gives them a better chance at certain positions than others. I think the offensive line is one that's difficult to come in and play at right away. I think quarterback, we've seen a lot come in and play as true freshmen. Can they play at a championship level, I think, is really the question at the freshman level. And then, I think probably the easiest position is probably running back and wide receiver. I think it's similar maybe basketball. If you can shoot a three-pointer, you can shoot a three-pointer. Can you go down in the post? Can you do some of the other?
If you're a 7-footer, you're always a 7-footer.
You can go down there, right? So I think it really just depends on some of the positions.
I'm also a firm believer that we should never start taking for granted consistent, outstanding performance, which means we got to talk about Chase Claypool. Big again, 5 catches, 97 yards, plus a touchdown. He has become your number one go-to guy, and you couldn't necessarily have predicted that a couple of seasons ago.
No, I think, a couple of things. Obviously, his maturity level is one, and then he shows up each and every week. He shows up with an attitude. He shows up as a competitor. You can see he is a guy that loves to compete on Saturdays, and he's a guy that wants the football. And you can see here just a great move off the line of scrimmage, gets himself open, and Those guys want the football when it's prime time, and he's one of those guys that, when it's time to play, he's ready to go.
And you were taking on a Duke offense that had been putting points on the board. They came in with a wide-open offense, again, 45 on Tech. They did not get their second first down. They got one on their first series. They didn't get the second one till more than halfway through the second quarter. That's a pretty good defensive performance.
Yeah, I thought defensively we controlled the line of scrimmage, and certainly, most offenses need to find a rhythm offensively by running the football, and that kind of, gets you going, and certainly Duke's no different, and they weren't able to really gain any rhythm because they wanted to run the football, and they certainly couldn't, and they put their quarterback in a position where he had to make some plays for him on third down, and he, one of the things was to restrict the running lanes on quarterback draws, and certainly we did that the week before on quarterback draw. So it was another kind of week where, find the quarterback, make sure that he is in a position that, he's uncomfortable, and that is make him make plays throwing the football. You can see we're constricting lanes, staying inside out. They want to go north and south. They don't want to go east and west, and we'll be confronted with that again this weekend. A quarterback that clearly is not as interested in throwing the football as he is running the football, and so we've got to do another great job this weekend.
When you look at that Duke game, the play that got called back by the penalty on Finke, they score. Yeah. They had a little bit of momentum at halftime. Mm-hmm. You got it back on the first series of the second half because Troy Pride came up with a big interception.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was miscommunication on whether he's supposed to run a stop route on that, and we get the turnover, big interception there, and that gets the momentum right back in our favor here, and obviously we're able to put some points on the board and get the lead back up to 4 scores.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, very impressive in the game, especially early flying to the football. He kind of set an early tone.
Yeah, so the ball was going to go out on the perimeter. If they didn't have the numbers that they wanted inside, the ball was going to go out on the perimeter. Kind of their game is if they don't like it inside, the ball goes out there. But Jeremiah is really physical, and he's a tough guy to block out there, and we felt like we had a matchup that was going to be difficult for them to contain, and you could see right there the slot receiver's not going to block him, and that's why he's a valuable player to us.
And one of the reasons why your defense has been so good in just about every game this year is because you have depth out there, and it's a good thing because the tough story that came out of this game, Julian Okwara broke a fibula. He is out for the rest of the year. You have depth there, but I know that's just a terrible loss for a young man who could have left last year and came back for his final year.
Yeah, no doubt, and we're disappointed for him. Julian had surgery today, and everything went great. He's recovering right now, and obviously our thoughts are with him. But he'll have a speedy recovery, and he'll be on to the next chapter, which is he's going to have great success in the NFL.
Now you're back at home this weekend. You've won 16 in a row. It's the third longest streak in Notre Dame history, and it's the fourth longest active streak in the country, behind only Ohio State, Central Florida, and Clemson, which shows you how hard it is to win, even at home. And there's a lot of reasons for that. The fans have been great. You, as a program, have made changes. You've got the video board now, which has enhanced and I think helped the fans step up their game a little bit, and that in turn has helped you guys be even more difficult to win at home, to beat at home.
Yeah, I think that's helped. There's no doubt. But, you got to win games. You got to win. We won a close one against Virginia Tech, and, we'll have another close game here, a difficult game against Navy. At the end of the day, you got to find ways to win. And, I think our guys deserve the credit. They have really, protected their house. That's been kind of their mantra in terms of, summer workouts, is that they don't want anybody to come into Notre Dame Stadium. They have a lot of pride in wanting to win at home. They take that, close to heart. And so their preparation has been great. They've got a great routine at home, and that preparation has paid off.
As always, folks, lots of questions for Coach Kelly. We'll begin to get to some of them right after this timeout on the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
What if something happens to your house? What if you don't have the right amount of coverage? West Bend's Home and Highway policy includes a guaranteed replacement cost feature. So if your home is destroyed, we'll pay to replace it, even if the cost to do so is higher than the limits on your policy. Because your house isn't just a house, it's your home, and your home is priceless. West Bend, the worst brings out our best. Ask your independent insurance agent about getting a West Bend policy for the things you can't afford to lose.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND. Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show. You know, you wouldn't notice it by the nice toasty environment we have here in your new indoor football facility, but it's not going to be 80 degrees outside anymore. So it's time to start thinking about tires. Winter tires. Our friends at TireRack.com, presenting sponsors of the Brian Kelly Show, have what's right for you. Headquartered just a few minutes from Notre Dame Stadium, their experts know a thing or two about driving through winter's worst. And when they're not driving in it, they're on their test track or maneuvering around on the ice at a local hockey rink for winter tire testing. Also, you can get your tires right. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. As always, one lucky fan who submits a question is invited to attend the show in person. This is a very exclusive event, one of the most exclusive in South Bend. This week's winner is Randy Murphy of Sullivan, Illinois. Randy, where are you out there? Randy, thank you very, very much. Thanks for making the trip over. Randy is very curious about the schedule-making process in terms of your input into that process.
Well, I had some input, but we are now scheduled into 2030. So I am no longer involved in the 2030 scheduling process. I will be long gone. So I've turned that over to somebody else. So Ron Paulus, who is our assistant athletic director for football, does a lot of the legwork in terms of contacting schools that may have an interest in playing Notre Dame. He works with Jack Swarbrick. And then what has typically happened over the last 10 years, they'll come to me with, prior to that, asking whether I have an interest in this particular school. And then they'll go through, whether there is a match, and then kind of a yes or no. What do you think, Coach? Is this a team that you would like to play? And if it's a yes, then they'll kind of get the arrangements made. But as I said, we're scheduled now well past my shelf life. So they're kind of doing it on their own right now.
Mac from Louisville, Kentucky sent in this question. Coach, I believe there are 2 freshmen playing regularly this year. Obviously, we hear a lot about Kyle Hamilton. We don't hear that much about Jacob Lacey. What is your feedback on him?
Yeah, he's had a good year for us. He's had a bit of a shoulder injury that has set him back a little bit, but he's fought through it, and he's played good football for us. We're pretty deep at that position in particular, so it's not as that he's been needed to play 40, 50 reps for us. He's been a guy that's played about a dozen reps for us, but he's played well. He's going to be a really good football player for us. He's a well ahead of where we thought he would be at this time, we're excited about his future. He's going to be a really good football player.
In 8 games, he has 7 tackles this season, a tackle and a half for loss and half a sack.
Yeah.
Sarah Davis from Barrie, Ontario, Canada would like to know, win or loss, what goes down as the most memorable game you have coached?
Well, there's some great games that we've had here. I think, man,
it's like asking you who your favorite child is.
Yeah, I know, right? That you love them all. I think the second undefeated season here, at USC, to do it once is great. The second time, that was pretty special, and to do it at USC a second time, which is the rivalry game, that was pretty cool.
And USC played very, very well, and a win would have made their season as well. So I know people, that was a close game, but both teams played to their utmost capabilities in the game.
Yeah, that was pretty enjoyable.
Mike Trigiani of Nashville, Tennessee is wondering, how hard is it to manage the roster with all the new rules and the development of the transfer portal?
Well, there's more to it, and there's more coming. With the new potential new rules relative to NCAA likeness. So what it has required us to do in particular is to continue to expand our staff and their responsibilities. So when I first came here, we had we really didn't have a recruiting office, if you will.
That's true.
And now we have 5 full-time and expanded roles. So, as it continues to expand the recruiting, you add more personnel and you add expanded roles to cover those. So oversight, expanded roles, more defined roles into particular areas. For example, you mentioned the transfer portal. Somebody has that now. That is a defined role that somebody oversees that transfer portal that never existed before. So, you have to stay on top of those things, and as you're confronted with them, you then begin to define roles and responsibilities.
And you talked about oversight. The rules regulating recruiting are incredibly extensive, and even some of the slightest things that you might think would be innocuous might be against the rules, and Notre Dame always tries to go overboard to obey them. So you have to someone has to be there, to understand those rules and keep track of every outreach any member of your staff makes.
Well, and it falls on me now. So if there's a violation for an assistant coach, I'm the one that's held liable for it. So, every recruiting meeting that I have to go and make sure that I over-communicate the NCAA rules and regulations to the staff. Not that my staff would intentionally break any rules, but if there are any rules violations, I'm held responsible. It's not anymore where the head coach can claim that he didn't know that his staff member was breaking a rule. He's responsible for that. So in our staff meetings, and we have them weekly, I'm over-communicating, compliance and NCAA rules and regulations. And then our compliance offices, they come in as well, and they do, bi-monthly updates relative to recruiting and compliance. So there's a lot that goes along with all of the new rules and regulations, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it too.
Patrick Hardig of Statesville, North Carolina is wondering how you prepare your offensive and defensive units to be ready for a game besides using scouting information.
Well, total preparation requires, for your team to be on top of a number of things. The first thing is physically, you have to be on top of nutrition. We have a full-time nutritionist. We have a large training staff. Our players are monitored with their sleep. We get their sleep information daily. Soreness, fatigue, all those things are monitored by our training staff. Certainly they're working out during the week, so we have a full-time strength and conditioning staff. So the physical is monitored daily. Certainly the technical work are the coaches, in terms of working on technique. That's part of the preparation. He mentioned the film study, the technical work in terms of practice, and then the mental work. The mental preparation is huge in terms of preparing your players to eliminate a lot of the distractions that take up most of their day in terms of getting them ready to play at the highest level. they have a thing that they carry around in their pocket that is very distraction called a cell phone that we have to work on getting them out of their hands so we can get them present in the moment and focus on a team like Navy. So all those go into preparing your team without even looking at film. So there's a lot that goes into that preparation.
We'll be back with more questions for Coach Kelly right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
Why wait for Black Friday? Get Black Friday prices today at the Home Depot. Up to 40% off appliance special buys, plus up to $600 in extra savings instantly on select appliances. No rebate, no hassle. Like a modern Frigidaire front control range for just $699. That's $400 off. Talk about holiday cheer. Black Friday savings early. Now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. Gas extra. See store for details. Valid through December 5th.
For more than 50 years, Holy Cross College has a proven record of forming students to be scholars, citizens, leaders, and disciples for the common good. Holy Cross College in Notre Dame, Indiana offers all the advantages of a Catholic, individually focused liberal arts education with tri-campus access to the University of Notre Dame and St. Mary's College. Join HCC for their fall preview day Monday, November 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For more information, call 574-239-8400 or go to hcc-nd.edu/visit.
With the holidays approaching, it's time to get glowing with major must-haves you can only find at Ulta Beauty. Stay fab on the go with the Tarte Gift and Glam Collector Set with 4 interchangeable palettes. Wow everyone with non-stop dazzle from the shimmery shades of the Too Faced Christmas Star Makeup Collection. And the Kylie Cosmetics Holiday Lip Sets will make your party dreams come true with long-lasting color and a silky smooth finish. Hurry in for your new faves this season and get ready to give, gather, and glow. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
At the football games, everyone says, "Go Irish." After the game, for authentic Italian cuisine, everyone says, "Carmella's." Enjoy the Italian experience of Carmella's at McCree's. From the bakery fresh bread and olive oil to the mozzarella sticks and minestrone, Carmella's gets you started right. Then enjoy your choice of fresh-made pastas and handmade sauces, including homemade lasagna, pan-seared tilapia, and chicken parmigiana. Carmella's at McCree's, near the campus on Niles Avenue between Colfax and LaSalle. Online at McCreefamily.com, a South Bend tradition.
Join us weekdays at 5 for Sports Beat with Darren Pritchett, ND insider Eric Hansen, and Sean Stiers.
If Phil Djokovic had been abducted by aliens last night and Brendan Clark was number 2, even though he's looked good when he's been in there wouldn't be as much of a clamoring for Brendan Clark because he wasn't as highly rated as Phil. Phil is a really good athlete. Is he a really good quarterback? We'll find out at some point.
Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, only on WSBT.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show. Folks, experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Download the new Vivid Seats app to start earning credit back on all your app purchases. Don't just get any seat, get a Vivid seat. Kelly Nesbitt would like to know how you and your staff attempt to keep former Notre Dame players involved in the program and around the current players.
Well, we have, clearly developed a, I would say, outreach that allows our players to feel comfortable coming back to Notre Dame. We've set up a protocol that puts our players in a position to come to the sideline and be on the sideline, whether we're home or away. Beth Rex has done a great job of setting that up so they feel comfortable coming back to Notre Dame. We also do something around the Super Bowl for our players where we invite them to a location. And then, I think, staying in touch with them, and inviting them back to different events, whether it's our awards banquet or, any of the events that we have here on campus through football-related activities. Because we have so many opportunities with our 4 for 40 program where we have so many former players that are active in it and helping get internships for our players in the summer, that it just creates a great network for the former players to stay in touch and involved with the program.
Kyle Roberts from nearby Osceola, Indiana, sent in this question. Coach, what is your favorite part of playing Navy every year? Tradition, game day, the game itself?
I would say the singing of the alma mater with both teams at the end of the game. That's probably my favorite part.
James Owen of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania would like to know, what is your idea of the perfect sports journalist?
Well, I don't think there's a perfect. I would say an excellent, excellent sports journalist. Yes. I would say he's got to be learned. He's got to know his subject. I think that's first and foremost. I think he's somebody that has to have, when you talk about, the position itself, he's got to have integrity. In other words, some things are on the record, some are off the record. Knows what to write and not to write. Not everything is printable. So integrity, has got to be part of that, I think. And then I think, in terms of, writing a story, I think opinion is good. I don't have any problem with a sports writer or any writer that has an opinion, as long as it's fact based, and then you can have your opinion based upon what you see from it. I've never had a problem with that. I think it's those that get emotional about it and sway away from the facts and get into things that are not factual. But I don't know that just applies to sports, writers. I think that applies to what we're seeing on TV today. You know what I mean? They kind of sway away from what is truly journalism. And I think just being a good journalist puts you in that excellent category.
Well, seeing as how I have a journalism degree, I agree with you 100%. A lot of what you see on TV now is not journalism.
Yeah.
It's a lot of screaming and opinions, but not journalism. Susan Del Rosario of Humble, Texas is wondering, what time do the football players get up every day?
Well, it's varied. Most of the guys are up fairly early. We're not as nocturnal as the average students here at college because they have to be done with all of their classes by 1:30, 1:45, and so most of them are taking early classes and they weight train in the morning at 7:45. So most of these guys are up 7 a.m. And then in January. They're up even earlier because we practice in the morning and we work out in the morning. So they're typically they're up as early as 6:30. So the college football player at Notre Dame is an early riser and makes up for it on the weekends. You might not see him until 2, 3, 4.
J.D. Feaster from Lafayette, Indiana, sent in this question. Since a lot of players have nicknames for each other, do you have any creative nicknames for any players or coaches?
I have some for the players that I'm not going to divulge.
Okay.
Those are we're going to keep private. Coaches are a strange short. We kind of are very careful about using nicknames. Mm-hmm. We're almost formal in a sense. We stick with "Hey Coach," we're kind of, I don't know what it is, but everywhere I've been, it's throwing around nicknames is, and we have a hard time deciding whether we're calling Tommy Reese Tommy or Tom. We struggle with his first name, so we can't even get to the nicknames.
Well, it was Tommy when he played, and now that he's a coach, he's Tom apparently.
Yeah, he's Coach.
Okay.
Coach.
That's the way to solve that, isn't it?
We stick with Coach. It makes it easier.
Absolutely. Folks, if you'd like to submit a question for the Brian Kelly Show, Go to Ask Coach Kelly on the Notre Dame app or UND.com and submit a question, and you better do it quickly because we only have one show left next week. Each week, next week, we'll select one question submitter to attend the show in person. We saved a little extra time, and it's a good thing we did, to break down this week's game with Navy. We'll do that right after this time out on the Brian Kelly Show, live from the Irish Athletic Center, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
You know, a lot of banking apps let you do the same things, like check your balance in your PJs, deposit checks during your workout, and transfer funds from, well, anywhere. But because we're a trusted bank in the neighborhood, the First Source app comes with a walk-in option. So you can talk face-to-face, not just face-to-phone. First Source Bank.
Member FDIC. Download the First Source app on the App Store or Google Play.
Is life throwing you hard knocks?
Okay, it's time to go to work.
You may be injured or just worn down. Whether it's Notre Dame football, work, or just everyday life, South Bend Orthopedics believes everyone should be treated as if they are on the same team. Schedule an appointment with South Bend Orthopedics today. Call 574-247-9441. Let us get you back in the game.
It doesn't take a focus group to name a Papa John's pizza with 5 of our best meats. Just take a ginormous bite and blurt out the first thing you think of. Meats! With an S. Meats, plural. Used in a sentence, it would be like, holy cow, that's a lot of meats. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go enjoy the meats of my labor. Try large meats or works for just $12, only at Papa John's. Not valid with other discounts. Fees and taxes extra. Prices may vary.
Score big this football season with exclusive tailgating discounts at Gordon Food Service Store and enter for a chance to win free Notre Dame tickets. All you have to do is join the tailgating zone by texting GFS to 55678. Members also receive a free thermal tote bag. Text GFS to 55678 to join today. Gordon Food Service Store is the official tailgating partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show. Navy up yet again for the Irish. Navy is 7-1 this year, 5-1 in the American Athletic Conference. They are ranked 21st in the AP poll, 21st in the coaches poll, 23rd in the playoff rankings. And I was surprised when I read this. I guess I should have known it. I've been here for most of the game since '78. This is the first time since 1978 that both Notre Dame and Navy are ranked in this game.
Again, I just must live in,
lucky you, yeah.
a cave. I've been getting all this information. They're a really good football team. Ken Niumatalolo has always coached well and coached his football team at the highest of levels.
And we're seeing on the screen their defense, which is surprisingly good this year.
Yeah, and here they're playing Air Force. Air Force beat Colorado. Colorado's a pretty good team. They've had some really nice wins this year. In the Pac-12, and Air Force handled them, and of course Navy beat Air Force.
Came from behind to beat them.
They came from behind late in the game. It's just it's led by 10. And Perry is an outstanding athlete. You can see here his speed is he's a game breaker, as we say in the coaching world. He can turn a play that is going to be 0 yards into a touchdown. Interesting statistic numbers. He's had 6 completions over the last 3 games and 3 interceptions. And that really doesn't matter because he has 16 runs off of passes that have averaged over 14 yards. So, it really doesn't matter what you do in throwing the football. When he drops back, if he doesn't throw the ball, that's worse. He's just a dangerous player, and you have to do some things that, are contrary to what you're taught, from the first day when you come here in camp. And that's what makes it very, very difficult to defend him.
Navy is ranked 7th in the nation in team passing efficiency. You talked about the 3 interceptions, but they've also had some big plays. They're very dangerous.
Six of the completions are I think 3 of them are touchdowns.
Yeah.
And one of them was from a halfback on a halfback pass. So, that's what you're going to get.
They lure you in, but you can never – you still have to cover the receivers every time, or that's what they do.
Well, you have to cover everybody, the fullback, the halfback, the slot receiver, the unbalanced
tackle.
They
have 2 really good fullbacks.
Yeah, well, they have 2 outstanding fullbacks. They're a good football team, and 25th in the country, whatever you want to rate them, they're very difficult to defend. And as you mentioned earlier, defensively, they have the new defensive coordinator, and Brian Newberry's done a really nice job of really changing the whole way of how they've played. See, the way they've played up into this year is keep the ball in front of us, bend but don't break, and that has changed dramatically. They are a pressure defense. They are giving you multiple looks. They're trying to get the ball from you, take it away, and they're doing a really nice job. They've got smart kids. They do a lot of things on defense that they haven't done before. So this is a defense that you're looking at for us that we've never played before, because they're running multiple defensive coverages, they're multiple fronts, pressures, things that we hadn't seen before.
For people who are curious about the numbers, they lead the nation in rushing offense. That's not unusual. Just under 358 yards per game. The quarterback has 130 of those, averages 6.6 per carry, Malcolm Perry. But here's their defensive numbers, and I can never remember a Navy team having these defensive numbers. They're 15th in scoring defense at 18 points. Part of that is they don't let you have the ball much. They're 17th in rushing defense, 17th in total defense, 19th in passing efficiency defense. And here's the one that's most surprising. They're 20th in the nation in sacks at 3 a game.
Man, how depressing. I thought this was supposed to be a show and we're going to have fun.
We're having fun.
Okay.
We'll move on to fun in a second.
I was Mishawaka was open.
But this week you're going to put Mishawaka on here?
Yeah.
Play the caveman?
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a good team. Our guys have worked hard all week. They know that they have to be on top of everything that happens, and we've prepared really
well. And you don't just start this week because you play them every year. This is built in throughout the season, so they get a little primer. It's not like you suddenly hit them with this week with a new offense to defend.
Yeah, I mean, but you're changing, your routine and what you're doing. So your eye discipline your discipline has to be second to none, because if you don't tackle the fullback, the layers aren't there that you're used to defensively because you're doing different things. So I won't bore you with the details. They're hard to prepare for. They're a good football team. Our guys have prepared hard for them. We've got to play well on offense too. I mean, certainly we've got to score some points. We've got to play well on defense, and our special teams has to come up really big for us as well. We need our special teams to do some things for us in terms of field position. If we can get our special teams to get some returns for us and help us out in field position, that would be big for us as well.
All right, let's have some fun here, taking a little Navy history offshoot to a guy who originally made a name for himself with outstanding performances against Navy. He's now making a big name for himself with the Los Angeles Chargers. Mm-hmm. You had a chance to talk again with Dru Tranquill.
Yeah, Dru obviously had his first start against Navy and didn't play much in his last game against Navy because he had a high ankle sprain. But we caught up with him. He was in Colorado Springs. He is playing for the San Diego Chargers. He started his first game last week. And he's in Colorado Springs because they're training for the Monday night game. San Diego plays Kansas City in Mexico City. So they're training at altitude, getting ready for the game, and we caught up. His family obviously was not there. They were in San Diego. But we got a chance to talk a little bit about this great game that we play here at Notre Dame and in the NFL, and it was just great to catch up with the two-time captain, Dru Tranquill.
And one of the toughest guys ever to play for you, 2 ACLs. And I remember last year, he could barely walk after the Navy game. You had a very important game at Northwestern, and he somehow willed his way back onto the field and made 5 tackles for you, most of them on third down.
Didn't need tightrope surgery. Came back the next week, so worked out pretty good.
We will hear Coach's conversation with Dru Tranquill right after this time out of the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame invites you to dine, shop, enjoy. Just south of campus, Eddy Street Commons has specialty shops like Urban Outfitters, Nicholas J. Salon, Kilwin's Chocolates, and Hammis Bookstore. If you're looking for a delicious dining destination, consider one of Eddy Street's many eateries like O'Rourke's Public House, Bar Beachy, Brothers Bar and Grill, and Livery. That's Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame. Be sure to follow them on Facebook. For details on upcoming events and special offers, visit eddycommons.com.
We'll keep your car running, we'll keep your motor humming. Shinaki Automotive Repair.
Hi, I'm Mike Borowski, manager of Chinaki Automotive Repair. Winter's coming. Pay $29.95 for an oil change, tire rotation, and multi-point inspection. Normally $59.95. Book today at ChinakiAuto.com.
Shinaki Automotive Repair. Personal service, professional results.
Why wait for Black Friday? Get Black Friday prices today at the Home Depot. Up to 40% off appliance special buys, plus up to $600 in extra savings instantly on select appliances. No rebate, no hassle. Like a modern Frigidaire front control range for just $699. That's $400 off. Talk about holiday cheer. Black Friday savings early, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. Gas extra. See store for details. Valid through December 5th.
Yeah, the sink is leaking again. Who was it that you used?
Oh, that's easy. We only use the best. Frog Plumbing.
Okay, I'll give them a call right away. Honey, Frog Plumbing is here, and they're right on time.
Ma'am, whoever tried to fix this last cut some corners. We'll fix it right.
Wow, you did a wonderful job. You gained another customer.
Call Frog Plumbing 24 hours a day at 294-2181. That's 294-2181. Frog Plumbing, proudly serving Michiana one leap at a time.
OCG Apple Cider Liqueur from Journeyman Distillery is a handmade secret family recipe that has become known as Old Country Goodness. OCG Apple Cider Liqueur is made using only the best organic Michigan apple cider, apple juice, and spices that are then fortified with their signature unaged rye whiskey. Best served hot, cold, straight, mixed as a traditional liqueur with other spirits and cocktails or used for cooking. OCG Apple Cider Liqueur by Journeyman Distillery, the perfect addition to your tailgate this fall and available year-round.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show. Dru Tranquill is one of the toughest players ever to put on a Notre Dame uniform. Despite suffering an ACL tear in both his freshman and sophomore seasons, Dru bounced back to become a two-time captain while playing safety, rover, and buck linebacker for the Fighting Irish. Last season, the week after suffering a painful ankle sprain against Navy, he somehow willed his way back onto the field the following week at Northwestern and made 5 solo tackles. Tranquill played a huge role in Notre Dame's 12-0 2018 regular season, finishing with 86 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks. Tranquill won the Werfel Trophy, given annually to the player that best combines exemplary community service with athletic and academic achievement. That academic achievement included being named a National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete after graduating with a degree in mechanical engineering with an amazing 3.73 GPA, a performance that also earned him the team's Newt Rockne Student Athlete Award 3 times and National First Team COSIDA Academic All-America honors in 2016. On the field, Tranquill finished his career with 292 tackles, including 25 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 3 interceptions. Tranquill was drafted by the Los Angeles Chargers in the 4th round of the 2019 NFL Draft. He has played in all 10 Charger games this season, and this past Sunday made a career-high 14 tackles against the Raiders. Off the field, Dru is married to his high school sweetheart, Jackie, and they are the proud parents of a son, Elijah, born in May. Earlier this week, Coach Kelly had a chance to catch up with his former captain and linebacker.
Hey, Dru.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Man, they let you out for a few minutes from training?
They let me out. We got the day off, actually, so it's nice.
Nice. Well, congratulations, man. It sounds like things, other than a tough loss this past weekend, it sounds like you personally are doing a great job, and the team obviously is playing much better.
We're starting to turn things around. It's been frustrating a little bit. It's reminded me of 2016.
Yeah.
A little bit. We've lost
some close games.
We've lost 6 games by 7 points or less, and so just some small details, being able to win some 2-minute drives offensively and defensively, and we'd be sitting in a little bit different position. But we still got an opportunity. Got a lot of division games still ahead of us, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, you know what it's like. I mean, it's the NFL, right? I mean, everybody's pretty equal, and you get a play here or there, it goes your way, you're in pretty good shape. But
it's hard to win.
Yeah, it sure is. So how's the transition been for you? I mean, obviously not having Jackie with you, and Eli, obviously you being a great family man, that's a little bit more of a transition for you than probably you're used to, right?
I mean, it's definitely been tough. We were able to get Jackie out there, 38 weeks pregnant, believe it or not.
Wow.
We had the baby in Orange County, and so we've been able to be together, but having family in the Midwest, like it's a bit of a distance. And so having it born, and not necessarily having that support has been tough. But she's amazing. She's been a warrior, and she's done an incredible job as a mother. Supporting me in my rookie season. So, everybody will tell you rookie season's the toughest, and it has been. It's been a long year, but it's been a blessing as well. It's been good.
So the day off today, being a Wednesday, it's because it's a Monday night game, so everything just kicks back a day. Because normally, isn't Tuesday? Give me the normal routine for you as an NFL player compared to when you were playing here at Notre Dame.
Yes, I mean, at Notre Dame we'd play on Saturday, and then Sunday was our day off where we'd kind of rest, do our homework, whatever. In the NFL, you play on Sunday, and then Monday you come in, you do your leg workout typically, you watch the film, evaluate it, and then Tuesday's your day off.
Yeah.
Then, Wednesday's a big install day. Thursday's a big install day. Wednesday, Thursday are typically your hard practice days, Thursday being typically your padded practice.
Right.
But you only get 16 of those. A lot of teams, as you go down the stretch, you won't even practice in pads the rest of the year. It'll kind of be shells the rest of the way. Friday we call Fast Friday. It's kind of like no repeat Friday. We're flying around, feeling good. And then Saturday is kind of like a walkthrough, kind of like we do on Friday at Notre Dame. And then obviously you get to spend some time with your family on Saturday afternoon, and then you're in the hotel and getting ready to play. That's great.
Yeah. So how's it been? Has the transition been a little bit different than or better because you've got some Notre Dame guys on the team as well? Has that been good? Have you been able to kind of lean on each other with kind of similar stories? Has that been a positive?
Well, I'll tell you this. I've obviously being a rookie, I don't know what other locker rooms look like in the NFL, but
right.
The information I can gather from my teammates, the Chargers have a really, really good locker room, and we have a great community of guys that, have a brotherhood outside of football. And so obviously having some Notre Dame guys there, it's been awesome to kind of have some friends before even stepping into the locker room. But even within our locker room, we have a great group of guys who just love to hang out, love to be together, and, love to excel. And, the NFL's a job, and you're competing against the guys in your locker room and the guys outside, but it seems to be an environment where guys, are pushing each other, which is great.
Well, I know you loved some of the games and the rivalries we've had here at Notre Dame. One that got you going pretty good was the Navy game. We've got those boys this weekend, and you've had some of your greatest games against Navy. What are some of the memories that you had in the games playing against Navy?
Well, I mean, as a freshman, Navy was my first start.
Yeah.
I played a lot on third down early in the season, but Navy was the game I actually started at safety for the first time. And then we had that game our senior year, the New Rockney game, and won a close one there. And then last year at Navy, I was primed and ready to play, and ended up suffering a high ankle sprain in the fifth play of the game. And we were actually playing in the Chargers Stadium in San Diego.
Yep.
And so I had that memory that, I wish I would have been able to play more in that game. But, they're a tough team, man, and they're really good this year from what I hear.
Yep.
So, it's going to be everything you talk about when you play Navy, time of possession and sustaining drives and being efficient on offense and, getting stops on defense and winning first and second down. So I'm excited to see you guys play. I'll be tuning in for sure.
Well, we'll be watching you too. Monday night, you're training in Colorado to get used to going to Mexico City and the altitude. That sounds pretty exciting.
Obviously, a big game Monday night, Kansas City. You must be excited about playing in your first Monday night game.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, we're out here in Colorado Springs. We're training at the Air Force Base, and it's been cool. We walked out on the field. There's a massive sign that is like, lack of oxygen here, like be careful.
Can cause death, right? Yeah.
I don't know if they put that there. I don't know.
I think they do that for the opposing teams. Yeah, no doubt.
Intimidation, but it's good. I'm excited. Kansas City obviously has a ton of superstars, and guys I've watched over the past couple of years while I was at Notre Dame playing, and they've got a lot of speed, especially at the wide receiver position. So. It'll be a good challenge for us. I'm excited to play them.
No, that's great. I mean, obviously your ability to impact the lineup starting for the first time last week was, I know everybody here is so proud of what you've been able to accomplish in a very short period of time. We all get a chance to watch the clips. We see the punt blocks, but what was really enjoyable is to see you on the field at that linebacker position making plays, and the comments about your coaches in terms of how you've played the game with your attention to detail and just your athleticism. So, we're all proud of you. We're all pulling for you. We watch NFL games just to find the Notre Dame guys. We pull for the teams that have Notre Dame guys. So right now you're number one because you got so many of them. But again, keep doing what you're doing. We're so pleased that you've had the success that you had.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach.
Thanks for taking the time.
Love you guys and wish you guys the best.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Take care.
That was Coach Kelly's conversation earlier this week with former Irish captain Dru Tranquill. I'll be back to wrap up this week's edition of The Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com, right after this final timeout.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
True fans know that game day begins with tailgate, so become a member of the Tailgating Zone from Gordon Food Service Store this season to get exclusive discounts on items that every tailgate menu needs and a chance to win Notre Dame football tickets. All you have to do is text GFS to 55678 to sign up. You even get a free thermal tote bag just for signing up. Again, text GFS to 55678 so you don't miss out on these exclusive discounts. Gordon Food Service Store is the official tailgating partner of Notre Dame Athletics.
If you run a small business, you know, the most valuable things are also the hardest to get. But the knowledge and experience of an independent insurance agent can help you determine the best coverage to protect those things that you can't afford to lose. And if your business is covered by a West Bend insurance policy, one bad break does not have to be the end, because the worst brings out our best. West Bend. Visit thesilverlining.com.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Folks, that will do it for this week's edition of The Brian Kelly Show from the beautiful and toasty Irish Athletic Center. I would like to thank our audio engineer, Bob Henning, producer Jared Stafford, and the entire FIM crew for all of their work getting the video aspects of this show planned and executed, the staff at Notre Dame Global Partnerships, and the director of Notre Dame Football Administration, Beth Rex, Football Media Relations Director, Michael Scholl, and Assistant Athletics Director for Communication, Aaron Horvath, for all of their help getting the show on the air each week. And a big shout out to our Fighting Irish Media student workers, Will, Julia, Joe, and Caitlin, for all of their hard work for our fine organization. Now, we'll be back here next Thursday for our final Brian Kelly show of the season. So if you'd like to submit a question, if you've been waiting all season to submit a question, just Google The Brian Kelly Show and follow the instructions that pop up on your screen. And again, at least one lucky question submitter each week will win tickets to attend our show. It should be quite a battle. Notre Dame and Navy, 2:42 Saturday afternoon at Notre Dame Stadium on NBC and the Notre Dame Football Radio Network. Until then, thank you for listening. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. Good night. And as always, go Irish.
This has been the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com, and is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Canon, Gatorade, Gordon Food Service, St. Joseph Health System, South Bend Orthopedic, Vivid Seats, and by West Bend Insurance. Also brought to you by Eddy Street Commons at